Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss.
Midnight Menu Plus One is proud to be a part of the It's New Orleans family of web radio shows, and we record our program live each week at Ted's Frost Top on the corner of Claiborne and Calhoun. Ted's Frost Top for over 60 years has been one of our city's most iconic eateries, home, among other things, to the delicious burgers and homebrewed root beers served in frosty mugs. So each week at Ted's, Margot and I meet here with a member of New Orleans' food and restaurant community to ponder its delights and its deep mysteries, and we ask our special guest each time to bring a mystery guest, a plus one, whose identity we do not know prior to the show. It can be absolutely anyone, and that's part of the fun. So now, before Margot and I introduce our special guest, we talk about our food odysseys this week, and I had a few. Margot, would you like to hear about those?
Yes, I would.
Okay, just real briefly. I finally made it to Lucky Rooster. We had Joe on, and he was wonderful, and also Christine, the coctologist, and we went with my wife and two of our friends, and all four of us agreed it was absolutely amazing. It was great. I know you love it. It was great Asian fusion, we thought. It was terrific. We had a great time. And then Grant knows about my obsession with quinoa lately. I know that's very, very uncool. That's like very 2009. But I got quinoa cakes. I've never had quinoa cakes before. I had that at High Volt, the new coffee shop.
Where's that?
That's like where Magazine Street goes one way right after Jackson, a little downtown of Jackson, Lower Garden District. Then it kind of veers off to the lake, and there's that side road, I think it's Sophie Wright or something, and there's a new coffee shop there, High Volt, full of kind of hipsters that are too cool for school.
Hipsters and quinoa.
But the quinoa was great, and the coffee was great, and also they had these vegan donuts. And I don't care. I'm not a vegan, but the donuts were fantastic, and they were really great. And that leads me to my last one, which is I predicted on the show. It's part of the historic record. I was the first one in history to predict the donut revolution that was going to happen in New Orleans. You remember this when we had
Yes,
Upper Nine,
okay.
Michael Caine, and all that. And it has happened now. As it happened with the burgers and the pizza, where you couldn't get a decent slice of pizza or burger in the town a few years, and now they're so great and all that, right? With True Burger and Company Burger and all the rest, and Pizza Delicious. Well, now we have this with donuts. And there's like 4 or 5 fantastic donut places, and one of them, I think, not that there weren't a few donuts around. I don't want to diss anybody that was around here a few years ago, but to me, in my opinion, District Donuts it's fantastic. Like transcendent, like life-altering.
What makes it so life-altering?
Okay, so I went in there. I wasn't even
the texture,
Here's
the
what
flavor.
happened. I already went to District Donuts for the sliders the day they opened. I went by and I saw they were open, so I went in and had great slider, but they didn't have any donuts yet. I went back in accidentally this time because I won't even get into the whole story, but I have I'm not even going to say it on the air. But anyway, so it's a funny story, but the part that I'm going to share is I went in there expecting to get coffee because I heard a coffee shop open there, but it didn't. It opened next door at Stein's. But now I was embarrassed because I already got in line in front of somebody. They let me go in front of them and all that. And so I had to get
celebrity?
something. No, just because they weren't decided what they wanted yet.
Okay.
And so I had to get the donut. And so, I just kind of reluctantly ordered one. I just picked one at random. The Vietnamese coffee donut is what it was. Vietnamese coffee donut.
So what does it have, condensed milk?
Yeah, and instead of like Boston cream in it, it was like this condensed milk cream or something in the middle. It was, I went into tunnel vision. My other senses shut down. My hands started to shake. It was unbelievable. It was so good. And so then I had another donut, and they have like 8 donuts there. So I had several, and they were really 8 different kinds that day, and it was just so good. Anyway, that's enough about that. But I would really highly recommend anybody listening to this at all that isn't a diabetic to go to District Donuts immediately. Run, don't walk. But enough about my opinions. We have a much more interesting guest and knows a lot more about food than I do, and maybe you do even too. Our special guest is Adrienne Williams Marie Flamant Resch. It's a long name, but I think most people just call her Adrienne Resch.
Yeah.
Really glad you're
They
here.
Sure do.
Her precise background is shrouded in mystery. We'll learn about it today. But I believe she was born somewhere in the 1980s. She had an American mom, a French dad, lived in Europe, was in the CIA for a little while. She did a lot of different things, both sides of the ocean. But now she's here, thank God, and she's brought with her her love of food and has been working. She worked at Iris, I think, first. Maybe there's somewhere else we can find out. Then we all love that, and then Boucherie. And now she's a walking encyclopedia of cuisine, and she gets to be on. We get to have her on our show tonight. This is very exciting. Welcome, Adrian.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, tell us about the CIA. What was it like working in the CIA?
I never was in the CIA.
Oh,
or
that's what
worked at
they
the
make them tell.
CIA.
That's what they make them tell you afterwards.
know.
She could tell us, and then she'd have to kill us.
Wow. Well, no, you did grow up though. No, you weren't in the CIA, but you did grow up overseas. Part of your life too.
Part of
didn't
my
you?
life,
Tell
I
us
grew
about that.
up part of the time in Massachusetts and part of the time in France. So I spent a lot of time with my great aunt. With her just cooking. Our family owned a restaurant before I was born.
In Massachusetts or
1984.
France?
In France.
Oh, cool.
So spent a lot of time cooking with my great aunt. It was kind of just like, here, this is your kid now. So that's really where my love and passion for food came from.
So do you pay homage to your family and prepare anything like the Grand Marnier souffle or?
There was an incident where at a dinner party where my cousin and some of the other kids who were my age at the time, I think we were about 12, and we decided that we wanted to make this souffle. And we had the recipe, and it was like, okay, we're going to do it. And we got
Wait, this is like an
everything-
episode of The Little Rascals. Wait,
Yeah.
a bunch of the kids get together in the kitchen. Okay,
Yeah.
I see what's coming. All right.
Uh-huh.
So you burn the house down, or
We
no?
didn't exactly burn the house down, but it ended up with my cousin telling his brother to go beat eggs in his room because he couldn't do it in the kitchen anymore. And flour.
It sounds like a euphemism for something else. I'm sorry. Beat his eggs in the other
Well, you
room.
have to get the whites to a stiff peak, and it was taking him too long, and he was taking
peak.
up too much of the kitchen space. So in frustration, he was like sending him to his room. Go to your room. It doesn't really translate very well from French to English, but you get the kind of idea. So from then on...
Wait, how did it turn out, though? Okay? No?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's jump ahead a little bit. So,
problem.
from 12 years old to today.
Yes.
And share with our audience what you are doing today, where you are, and...
Well, I work at Boucherie 5 days a week. We'll see. We're open Tuesday through Saturday. So I work the lunch service mostly.
Wait. Oh, so you're there every day it's open, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we have a pretty core group, and we all work 5 days a week. So we're all there all the time. We're very much so like family. And some of us are morning people, and some of us are not morning people. And I'm one of the morning people. So cook lunch and get everything going for the day, get things started, and then kind of pick up where the dinner crew left off from the night before.
Now, you've been there, what, like 5 years now? 4
Not
years?
5 years. It opened in November, and then I got there in March about 4 years ago.
4 years ago,
I think
okay.
so.
And where were you in your culinary career when you started there? Were you a seasoned chef, or were you fresh out?
I was fairly seasoned by then. I had worked with Nathaniel a long time ago with Ian as the opening team of Iris. So in that same location. And previously to Iris, I worked at Mango House, which was also
The
at
same
8115 Jeanette Street.
So you just go with that building. That's
Yeah,
it.
and
If they open up like a taco shack next, you're going to be slinging tacos there, right? I
Right.
mean, it's like you're just not leaving that building.
Well, it's very close to my home, but I think with some recent developments in my life, I'm also growing a human. So
A scientific experiment, or is this pregnancy? Yeah.
pregnancy.
All right.
So we'll see how things go from there. I don't know if that's going to be an extra set of hands to like cook with, or if it's going to slow me down.
Keep them away from the Grand Marnier souffle. Yeah.
It could help. It could help to whisk the egg whites.
All right.
Well, there's people that do like marathons and stuff up into the last, and I would imagine cooking in a kitchen is kind of rigorous like that, like a marathon. So
It gets hot. It gets hot. It's a lot of fun.
Well, your plus one is here, we see. Can you introduce her for us?
Yes, this is my lovely friend Via, who works over at True Burger.
Oh, we love True
and
Burger.
One of another. Can I swear on the show? I
Yes.
don't remember. Okay, yeah.
It's kind of required.
Okay.
It makes Margot
cool.
feel more comfortable.
yeah,
You know, the women in the culinary industry are few and far between, and when you meet a badass bitch like Via, you know, and also myself being a badass bitch, it's like, oh, cool. We're friends now.
Kindred spirits.
And how did y'all meet?
Hillary.
Our friend Hillary.
So our friend Hillary is a bartender, and she was bartending at Le Bon Ton at the time.
So y'all were out boozing,
Yes.
and
I think we were actually day drinking.
We were both off on Mondays, and Hillary was the bartender.
Day drinking Mondays.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Adrian's off the team right now, but we'll
I
hold
know.
the spot for her.
Gone but not forgotten.
Yeah. We pour one out.
So how long ago was that you all met?
3 years ago?
All right.
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Via hosts an excellent St. Patrick's Day party. Boyle,
It's-
the whole nine.
it's
Are you on the
Right.
route
I live right where the route starts, so every year
near
we
Tracy's
have,
or no?
No,
That's where it
it's
ends.
Felicity and Magazine.
Felicity magazine. Okay, yeah. All right.
so
near High Voltage is what I meant,
y'all met, and then you got invited to a badass party,
Well, you know.
or had you
a-
gone to her parties before?
I have
you
a
met
lot
her?
of parties. That's like sort of
That's your
my
thing.
interest. Yeah.
Monday drinking,
Yeah.
running a
Running
restaurant,
a burger shop, and boiling crawfish. That's
What
sort of
else is
sums
there
up
to
my-
life?
what
That's
is
about
it?
yeah.
Right?
It's pretty much all the best things.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
It's the bees.
Yeah.
Burgers, booze, boys. We'll just throw that in there
Boils.
too.
Boils.
Boils.
Yeah.
It's the
Boils.
bees in life. Being a badass too.
So where did you grow up here, or where
No,
did
I'm
you come from?
Mississippi, and then I went to college in Tennessee, and then I moved here right after college.
Now, what brought you here?
My parents lived here for a long time. It seemed like a good place to move. It's close to my hometown. I really don't know. It just called me,
So
and I came.
So did you start working in food right away when you got here?
Yes, I started working at Muriel's when I first got
Oh,
here
wow.
on
Great.
Jackson Square. And then I went to Surrey's, and then Slice, and then Patois, and then now I work at True Burger. And as of today, I'm taking over managing the kitchen at Oak Wine Bar, and we're getting a new chef in there.
Whoa!
Yay!
Oh, staying in the neighborhood
So
there
all,
too.
all day Oak Street.
Wait, but are you still going to be at
Yeah,
True
I'm still
Burger
gonna be
too?
at True Burger. We're putting in a new chef over there. I'm just gonna do some managerial stuff.
Wait, is Oak's not owned by the same people as True Burger now?
No, but my boss used to do what I'm gonna do, but he's working on new stuff, so
Oh.
taking the old jobs. He's getting new
Are you
ones.
pretty much gonna stand in the middle of Oak Street with like
Just-
binoculars?
Your
Be like, what
empire.
are you doing? What are you doing? And then you can also cross train them. Like, oh yeah, you think this is bad? Go next door. See how it's really like under
From
the
both
hand
lines,
of Via.
I can see the other line. So
So now, what's your title at True Burger? You're like general manager there.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what's your title over at Oak then?
kitchen manager person, sort of. It's just a part-time gig, just making sure they're staffed and they're
It's kind of
getting
transitional
stuff
for
ordered
them.
right.
or-
Yeah,
okay.
just so that when whatever chef they have in there decides they're going to get a new job, they're not left with no one. So it's just that kind of business.
Using your experiences to help them,
Yes.
educate them, and get prepared. and
Yes.
so you don't have to be there
No.
24/7. And
I'm already over
Yeah.
there all the time, so it's just, a little bit of...
Now, I've been to Oak in about a year, but I used to go a bunch. I loved it. I love it. It's still kind of like the small plate stuff, kind of exotic, kind of small plate
Yeah.
things and all that. So it's
great.
different than
They
True
have a
Burger
great
then.
bar staff.
Yeah.
I'm really
It's
excited
so
about it.
pretty inside.
It's really
too.
Yeah.
pretty inside.
Great live music and
I feel like I have to like get dressed up or something.
Yeah.
Like I can always go after work and go visit Via at True Burger because I'm in jeans and a work shirt and I don't feel intimidated. But I don't know if I can go visit you at Oak now.
isn't that where they filmed like Kingfish or one of those? Wasn't
I
it?
don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And then that's when they fixed it up. They fixed it up for the movie,
It's
and
nice.
then yeah, right.
It's really nice in there now.
Because that used to be kind of ratty that property
Yeah.
a couple
Oak
years ago.
Street's
Yeah.
coming back, whole thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Get ready for Po' Boy Fest.
Yeah.
oh my goodness,
I'm
it's
doing a
already
book signing at Po' Boy Fest, by the
It's gonna
way.
be awesome.
At Blue Oak, I'm going to give a little plug for that. At Blue Oak,
Excellent.
Blue Cypress Books, I'm doing a book
I
signing.
love that bookstore.
I love Elizabeth. She's
She's
so
great.
great. She's
Yeah.
one of the anchors on Oak Street for sure. I love her.
Yeah,
She's
they're
so
great.
terrific. Yeah.
Well, you'll have to
I
come
love that bookstore.
All right, well, come by and
Boucherie
see
will
me.
Boucherie and True Burger will both be selling food. We're gonna have raw and char-grilled oysters. I don't know what y'all are gonna have.
Well, we do our famous barbecue shrimp po' boy that won the first year that they had Po' Boy Fest. So it's this delicious barbecue sauce that has dark beer, onions, garlic, hot sauce, lemon, Worcestershire, all that sautéed shrimp in there, green onions.
Wait, all that's in one sauce?
Yeah.
Wow.
Butter. Butter. I don't know, like if I can get closer and just be like, hey, butter. And we got beautiful shrimp from this guy named David Turgeon, and they're all caught locally. And it's really nice to use that product because a lot of times when you have such like a large format gig like Po' Boy Fest, you're like, holy shit, I have to sell 1,000 sandwiches. Where am I going to get something like that? We definitely.
Well, I know the event advertises they get 50,000 visitors,
Yeah.
but there's no way it's only 50,000 visitors.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's like
huge.
there are times where, like, when you're walking, you can't walk a block. It takes you 15 minutes to walk a block. Sometimes it gets so
Well,
congested.
usually I'm chained to the truck, so I don't even like get to leave.
Oh, you're in that purple truck, right? The boucherie truck.
But this year I will be more behind the scenes, prepping for it beforehand, but not necessarily working the day of, which I'm really excited about because it's been almost. I mean, I haven't been able to participate as a spectator. Is po' boy eating a spectator sport? I don't know. So I haven't really been able to try a lot of different stuff. Sometimes, like, other cooks will walk around and we'll trade plates and things like that. But we're doing the barbecue shrimp po' boy. So take a piece of po' boy bread and cut the top off and hollow it out and stuff it with that shrimp.
Oh,
So good. Butter.
wow.
And I think I would much rather try something like that and y'all
Yeah.
run out than have enough to feed 10,000 people of
Yeah.
lesser quality. I mean, that just sounds divine.
It's
Well,
so
people really
good.
step up their game for Po' Boy Fest, too. I mean,
They do.
I'm not going to name any names, but one of the winners recently was a place that I think is a mediocre restaurant, but they came up with, like, the most badass po' boy, you know, and just killed everybody. I mean, like, people,
Yeah.
like, really... I mean, everybody serves a good po' boy at Po' Boy Fest, I think.
Well, I think it's also a way to, like, buy. You know that you're going to sell out. So you can buy 500 lobsters and make a dish with lobster because you're really only putting, 2 ounces on a po' boy and you're selling it for $5. So you can do some math there and
well, you
work
sell
it
like
out.
quarter po' boys and stuff like that too, because everybody
Yeah.
wants to sample. You want to go to 10 or 15.
So you
different
get
places,
these
so,
fancy
yeah.
ingredients, and people are like, "Oh, but it's lobster." And it's like, well, you know what? I would really much rather a local, delicious shrimp.
Oh,
And
wow.
Dave Turgeon is awesome.
Yeah, he
Who they
is.
buy shrimp from. I just went out to his house, and he lives on the bayou somewhere.
Lafitte, I think.
Lafitte,
it's,
yeah, with some other cooks, and we had a blast. We went alligator hunting. His son killed an alligator.
Wait, slow down. You went alligator hunting. What does that mean? Were you shooting at
No,
alligators
no,
yourself?
I don't have a permit. I was just in the boat while they were killing alligators.
So you're watching them shoot alligators?
Yeah,
What do you
it
shoot
was
alligators? Because they're basically like armor, right? I mean, they're dinosaurs,
So
kind
they
of, right?
shoot- they have
you
like,
shoot it like harpoon them? What do you do with
they
them? I've
have
never
like
watched the show.
I've never
I know
watched
there's a
the
show
either.
about
they
it.
have like
Yeah.
traps, like big hooks set up, and then they go and check their traps, and if there's one there, they shoot it like right in between the eyes, and then they may or may not club it.
What do they shoot it with? Like a shotgun or
yeah,
like just a
shotgun.
rifle?
Yeah.
So that supposedly it doesn't get in pain, like they do
yeah,
it quick,
it kills
like
them
Yeah.
instantly.
instantly. All right.
It was exciting.
Well, because the meat's not in the head. You're not
You
going to
mean
eat
they don't go
alligator
out there
head.
and throw marshmallows
Yeah.
like they do on the tour?
Well, I imagine too, if you don't have it on a hook beforehand, that sucker weighs a lot. It's gonna sink. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. It's like a rock,
I imagine
basically. Yeah.
that, like, hey, you're gonna kill a 600-pound alligator. How are you gonna get that in your boat if you don't have it tied to a string?
Oh, it's
yet?
all muck in the bottom, too. It could sink into the muck
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah.
It was
wow.
exciting.
That's
I want to
what-
do this sometime.
Dave
Give me a
Turgeon,
call.
Great host.
Okay. So this is down in
delicious
Lafitte.
crab
Yeah.
meat too.
Okay, now what's True Burger doing? Are they doing something for Po' Boy?
We're gonna do raw oysters and char-grilled oysters because
Nice.
we're gonna switch it up, you know. There's
Nothing
plenty
burger
of
related at
po' boys
all.
out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Fix your palate with a little
Yeah.
grilled oysters so that you
Just
can.
stop by, have a cold beer, some raw oysters, go back to po' boy eating.
Excellent.
Well, yeah, I know there was like a threat to Po' Boy Fest a few years ago. There was somebody had
Yeah.
taken it over and wanted to like move it to Palmer Park
And
then
charge
charge
to get
$5
in.
admission and all those.
Did
I mean,
y'all rally and keep
yeah,
that from
I
happening?
heard what they did was
Hank,
tell me
who
about it.
owns Maple Leaf, who's like the king of Oak Street,
Yeah.
who like made that. He's the man.
Yeah.
was like,
He
no,
saved it, right?
I'll take this over and I'll do it myself. And we're having a free fest on Oak Street. This is for Oak Street. It's for the people that work on the street and have business on the street to have a great day, get a lot of exposure, make a bunch of money. We're not moving it to Palmer Park and charging $5. That's
awful.
That's not what we started this for, and that's not where we're going with it.
Right.
Wow. That's
Palmer
great.
Park has that art
But y'all-
market that does
Yeah.
pretty well. The last Saturday of every month. Or
Yeah, it's
something.
wonderful.
No, it's super fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun. But I mean, Po' Boy Fest got started. Oak Street belongs there, and it's great for those businesses. And I mean, there was one
gotten
business there. They
so
told me
big.
they do 2 months revenue on that one day.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
And it brings people back. I mean,
Right,
it
and they
reminds
know,
people
yeah.
how fantastic the businesses are
Yep.
there. And
Because Oak Street's
And
a
it's-
little bit out of the way, and the streetcars aren't. You have to get on a bus to get up there now, so you kind of forget. You might forget it's
Yeah.
up there, but we're having.
And there's new businesses too that then you discover when you're there. You
Yeah.
may never notice them as you walk by. You
so
know.
let me ask both of y'all, because you're both in a similar area.
Mm-hmm.
Are you finding that your businesses are regulars, or have you seen an influx in like tourists, and has the Po' Boy Festival affected, visibility or?
Since we're hamburgers, we get tourists, but we're like it is all locals and all
Yeah.
regulars, and it
All
is
right.
awesome. It is the world's most loyal people that are eating in True Burger on Oak Street. It is awesome. The first year we did Po' Boy Fest, we had a po' boy with pimento cheese and thin fried onions on it, and there is this adorable elderly couple that still comes in once a week and orders that as a burger.
That's so cute.
Wow. Now, Boucherie is like unique to me because, well, first of all, it's tucked away a little bit from the main drag too.
Uh-huh.
It's a few blocks off the beaten path, kind of from like where most other things are. But then also like, isn't it still true? I mean, I think of all like the best kind of fine dining in New Orleans, although it's not pretentious and fancy, but that quality of dining. It's got to be the cheapest in the whole city, right? You still don't have
It really
anything on the menu
is.
that's more than like $19 is the most expensive entree or something like that.
I think it's gone up a little bit.
Little bit, okay.
Maybe I think $20 because the Wagyu brisket that just keeps on like creeping and creeping and creeping up. Every now I check all the invoices when deliveries come in. I'm like, really? Again? Crap. I always have to circle it. I'm like, hey Nathaniel, just to let you know, went up another 25 cents.
I mean, it just seems like a crazy business model to me because it's like you're not a natural, like, people are going to see you. You're not in people's
Yeah.
face. You're kind of tucked away. They got to search you out. It's not a big place, so you can't go, okay, we're having low prices, but we're going to have huge volume. We're just going to keep running people in and out. No, it's small. It's just a shotgun.
Nathaniel
And yet
is
somehow you
magnetic.
make it happen.
Nathaniel
great.
really is magnetic. I don't know if you guys. I think he's been.
Yeah,
on
he's
this
been on the show. He's been great, yeah.
And he's an awesome person, and I think that people really see how much effort and care he puts into his food, and they really appreciate that. So we have a very large local following, and then also a following of people all over the United States. And even this past Friday, I believe, we had a group of 15 guys who came in. Each one of them was from somewhere different. They all decided to come meet in New Orleans, and they had lunch at our restaurant. So
And Will Smith ate at Boucherie 2 weeks ago.
he did.
Nice. What did you order?
I don't know per se, but we had Big Willie jokes going on all week long, to the point where I found a picture of Will Smith with Mariah Carey. We have different.
Wait, slow down. Wait, where'd you find the picture of Will Smith and Mariah Carey? What?
Oh, on the internet.
Oh.
But we have different.
I thought you meant
ways-
Mariah Carey showed up. Because, there's
Oh,
been
no.
rumors this week about Will Smith and his co-star, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
heard about that?
And the rumor is that photo on the cover of Us was from the Saint Bar.
Come on,
That's
really?
the rumor. I don't know if it's
Molly
true.
told me that.
But it's a good rumor.
All right, can we get start a new rumor right now? So Will
I
Smith,
don't even know what y'all are
Will
talking
Smith's been
about.
cheating on his wife. Well, here's the thing,
Well,
though.
they have an open marriage.
Allegedly.
Y'all are not
They already
following
ha-
the people
yeah,
back. Y'all are not up on
they
Big Will.
they have an open marriage, which all the other magazines have glossed over. So they're going like, oh, he's cheating, but apparently he's not because he's allowed to. But anyway, so he's been cheating with his co-star. Supposedly, he denies it. It was just like a photo booth thing. Da da da. You say it's the same. But like now we find out that he was cheating with Mariah Carey too at Boucherie.
Oh, yeah.
At Boucherie.
In the 1990s.
Before there was a Boucherie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I found a picture of like great Will Smith kind of 1990 Fresh Prince era, and
Nice.
Mariah Carey with the big curly hair.
And he had like the
looking
wedge kind of
super-
thing when he was
yeah.
Fresh Prince
I
with
mean,
the baggy
it's
pants.
in my phone
Yeah.
still. I'll show it to you.
Awesome.
But at Boucherie, when the back waiter comes in, they usually ask us like, oh, would you like something to drink? Do you want a coffee? And each person takes their coffee differently. There's some people that are more Halle Berry, and there's some people that are more Mariah Carey. So it depends on how sweet and how much milk you want in your cream. And Nathaniel is Mariah Carey all the way. So we had Will Smith and Mariah Carey, all week.
You're not going to make a comment. Your jaw is wide open. I'm
What is
waiting
there to
for
even
what.
say
Yeah,
to that?
yeah.
I know.
I don't know. I get myself in
Sometimes
trouble
you
too much.
just,
I'm going to get through a whole episode without one
We
sentence
already
that's going to
had
get me in trouble.
the egg joke thing. Though.
Oh, yeah. That was mostly
Peaks.
Margot, though. I started to join in, but that was her
It
pretending
was
to be
like
me.
you were saying it down here,
Yeah,
not in
exactly.
the microphone.
I don't know how to sneak this in, so I'm just going to tell you all that Friday night at Boudin and Beer,
You got with Will Smith, too.
I served Sammy Hagar
Oh.
a pig ear, so basically I can kill myself now because nothing will ever be better than that moment.
I can't drive 55. Okay. So is he still...
The
does he have,
joke
like,
was like
does he
that
have
I
big
should
hair?
have been huge hair and a mega hot wife, like the hottest wife.
Well, wife, right? We don't know.
Or lady,
Okay, yeah.
lady that was
Yeah.
like he was like, can I have the face? I was like, you could have the ear. And she was like, I was like, do you want something? He was like, oh, I'm just gonna watch him eat. I was like, okay. And the joke now is that when he was like, can I have the face? I should have said right now, but we're not sure how that would have gone over.
Oh, that he would have thought that was awesome.
He and Emerald are apparently like best friends.
Yeah, Carnival de Vin was on Friday or Saturday, and I know that they always have a table together, and it's a huge like fundraising thing for Emerald, and they always auction off different things, and I think one of them is like a trip to Cabo San Lucas to Sammy Hagar's place.
Sammy Hagar supposedly played a after show for the employees after Carnival de Vin.
Oh man.
How cool is that?
When in Rome.
Well, speaking of Sammy Hagar in the 80s, it's time to get to
Will
the
Smith
book of
in
In the
questions.
days when
90s.
Sammy Hagar had a washboard stomach and was top of the charts, so was the Book of Questions, which is a time before probably either one of you was born or when you were very small.
Let's see, what's the year?
We've had this question before. I can't remember. It's like 1988 or something. isn't
Oh
it?
yeah, I was born.
Oh, yeah, you were
doing
like
stuff.
87. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
First time,
was
85.
wild.
You're making souffles
then
already.
Whatever, copyrighted in 87.
All right. Well, let's
85.
ask him the question. You
All
go
right.
first.
Pick a number for me, Adrian.
26. That's the day of my birth.
Okay.
October.
Would you be willing to murder an innocent person if it would end hunger in the world?
Oh, that is an awful question.
You got to stick him with hooks
This
like an
book should have been
alligator,
left
and then shoot
in
him in the
the 80s.
forehead, and then drag him onto the boat and
Um,
dispose of the body.
I don't know. I really don't know, because ending hunger in the world, like, how is that accomplished? What measures does that?
Magically, it would happen.
Yeah, and
It's-
then where the earth is overpopulated, and then. So it's, I mean, what's that movie with the thing with the button, and they're like, if you press this button, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what this book is. It's like
Yeah.
very
It's a mind fuck.
painful.
There's the guy that made have y'all not read about this? He's made this like substance that doesn't taste like anything, but is basically a liquid meal replacement. And it's like the goal is that he has been eating it only for a year to prove that he could. And it's like, supposed to help end hunger, but all these foodies and chefs are like up in arms that this is what the food world is coming to, just drinking this liquid to survive. And
Yeah, if we
so-
think GMOs are bad or whatever,
Yeah.
how about like
Yeah.
liquid Soylent Green or whatever
And
it
it's
is
like
that he's
a
doing? Yeah,
Soylent Green.
it is called Soylent Green.
Named it Soylent Green.
Oh, just to make it a little creepier. Yeah, and actually, that's back to Will Smith again. 'Cause did he make a movie about that? He was the Mega Man, wasn't he? Oh, that's a different movie. That's a different
I don't
Charlton
know.
Heston. Okay,
This has turned into the 3 degrees of Will Smith.
this 3 degrees of Will
Best
Smith.
thing ever.
It's the
Yeah.
best game ever. So
One
much.
of Adrian's coworkers called me and was like, I just made greens for Will Smith. I was like, yes!
Wow. All right. Well, how about a question for
It's
Via?
yeah, sorry to do it to
Big Willie style, pick a number.
But you didn't answer, so was it yes or
That
no?
sounded like a no to
I
me.
don't know. I think I'm gonna go with no because I just don't have enough information.
Okay. All right. If it made sense to you, maybe you'd murder somebody, but you just don't have enough information.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
We'll go with that.
What are the number choices again?
Between 1 and 217.
Let's go with 81.
We ever ponder that, by the way? Why'd they stop at 217? What a random weird number. Is it just like the publisher said, okay, it has to be under 100 pages or whatever?
Yeah, and the questions are really great after 217. They just, okay, if you were to discover that your closest friend was a heroin dealer, what would you do?
Well, that's easy.
Heroin?
I would insist that they pay for everything we did. Because they'd obviously be making about 10 times the amount of money I make. So I would immediately suggest
That's a perfect
insist
answer.
that they pay for everything.
That's
and
a great
you
answer.
have a good, bartering chip. Well, if you don't,
I mean, the monkeys can't sell bananas, so if they're selling it, they're not doing it. So I guess we're in a good spot.
Monkeys can't sell bananas. Monkeys could sell bananas. If they
No, they would eat them all. That's what they say.
they wouldn't eat them all, would they?
That's what they say
Yeah.
about if you like the drug you're selling, then you're never going to make any money because you're just going to consume your profit.
Huh, okay.
So I assume that at least my friend wasn't doing
The
the
best
heroin.
drug dealers probably do not do their product.
Yeah,
I would
that's
have
the
to
deal.
say.
Is that monkeys
Yeah.
can't sell bananas? So if you're really good, if my best friend is making the money and we're spending his heroin money, he's probably not doing heroin. So I guess
where are we going out
things
to
are
eat?
on the up
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me. Looks like.
So, yes, that leads to my next question.
like
If
more-
you had heroin money and you could eat any restaurant in New Orleans, what would it be?
Oh man!
If money was no cost, and you probably
I went
but
to
me it's not about
Revolution
expensive,
recently,
but-
and it was wonderful, and it did cost an arm and a leg
You love it.
and a heroin dealer amount of money. Well, the good
was
note,
great?
yeah, it was great. The good note for Kyle is that it was my birthday dinner, but since
And who's
technically-
Kyle? Wait.
my husband.
okay.
Ah.
who is not a heroin dealer.
It's not
Where
a
did he go,
heroin.
by the way?
Is he in
He
the
went-
food business?
No, not at all. He is a mechanical engineer for Shell. So, yeah, he's at Robert's Bar.
I don't have. I could
Oh.
not come up with
Yeah.
one question for that.
No.
I mean, like, I mean.
No,
sorry.
he talks to me about his job and is like, "Oh man, acronym equation stuff," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, acronym. Ooh, must be tough."
Here, eat this. It'll make your acronym feel better.
Yeah. But we went to Revolution for my birthday, and it was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And he was very lucky because instead of giving me the wine list and candy store wine. It's my birthday. I can have whatever I want. I'm only allowed one glass, really. So I had the $30 glass of bubbly. But as opposed to the $500 bottle of wine that we could have had. So on the scale of money, it wasn't as, all the way over here. Way better than heroin money, but it just, regular. But we had such a great time. But I would say that would be a place that I would go back to for sure if I had money coming out of my ears and pockets and soles of my shoes.
How about you, Via?
I don't know. Maybe Herb's saying I've had some really great meals there. Although I went to Boucherie Saturday night and
how was that?
and they killed it. Everything we had was awesome. We had something crazy. It was Adrian probably knows more about that. It was like a griddled carrot cake with candied andouille on top, which sounds like
What?
it's not gonna work, but it was amazing. It was
Wait, say this
perfectly
again?
spiced.
Griddled carrot cake.
Griddled carrot cake.
With-
Okay,
with-
so far you got me.
So we make a traditional carrot cake batter, and then add a whole bunch of white pepper and in-house smoked paprika to kind of give it a more savory sense, but still it's shredded carrots, sugar, eggs, all that jazz.
Okay.
And we have our
But
flat
no
top.
icing.
No icing.
Okay.
So it's not baked. It's still the raw batter, and it goes into a little ramekin on the flat top, which is our big griddle.
Okay.
And it sits there, and it gently kind of cooks, and it steams and deliciousness. And then we have some Brussels sprout leaves, and then candied andouille. So we make andouille from scratch. It's wonderful.
And what goes into andouilles?
Oh my goodness. So we get piggies from Chapapila Farms, and we take their legs and all that stuff and chop them up into pieces. And then we also take the whole pork butts and slice them kind of into almost like a thick ham steak, and put the same kind of cure that you would put on bacon, and let that cure for 5 days, and then wash that up, and then put rub on it, like our own homemade rub that we use on all our smoked meats. Let that cure for 5 days, and that's how you make tasso. And then smoke it. Dice all that stuff up. Tons of garlic, tons of black pepper, ground pork, the homemade tasso. Put it into a casing. Smoke the casing, like smoke the whole sausage. Then from there,
You candying it now.
candy. So put it into slices, and then like cut it into slices, and then in the pot on the stove, put a whole bunch of olive oil and maple syrup, and just like fry the slices.
Oh, it was
Wow.
it was awesome.
All right, you know what though? There's a rough equivalent we already have in our head. There's categories for this, right? It's a little bit like candied bacon. People do that a lot, right?
Yeah.
But this was so
You know?
much smokier.
It's like smokier and
and
spicy.
But I'm saying it's like in the
Spicy.
same
Yeah.
general
But it's
family
on
with
top
that.
of.
But then you put. But I can't imagine candy bacon on top of carrot cake though. That's the thing that's
But
freaking me
remember
out.
that the carrot
was-
cake is not
Oh, but
necessarily
wait.
sweet.
No, but wait, we got donuts with with bacon on it. There we go.
Yeah,
All right, here
so-
we go.
It was
So it's
it
a
was
savory-
Awesome. It
it's
was
made-
totally savory. It was
Yeah.
like the flavor profile is like
I
it was
think-
just like it was amazing.
Where'd you
It
get
was
this idea? Was this your idea? Was this Nathaniel?
No,
Who
this
did
is all
this?
Nathaniel. Nathaniel, writes these menus.
Did he get this from anywhere? Did he come up with this? This is like totally whole cloth him.
Well,
You think?
we had a catering job like 2 weeks ago, and we made a big batch of andouille for it. And because they wanted pigs in a blanket, but instead of making traditional pigs in a blanket, we made andouille in a biscuit. kind of.
Wow.
Pigs
Oh,
in
that's
a
so
blanket.
great.
Yeah, and so that was one of the past hors d'oeuvres. And we had some andouille left over, and we're just kind of doing different things with it, cooking it. We put some on the dehydrator to almost make it like jerky, and that gave it a really interesting texture. And then I think, he sits at home and all these things go through his head. And then the first Tuesday of every month, we change the menu.
Wow.
And we change all these dishes, and we get to work.
Now you change everything on the menu the first Tuesday of the month? You leave some things, right?
Some things always
Okay.
stay the same. Like the collard greens don't go, the boudin balls don't go, pork cake. But it's like the scallops and the duck. Those core items stay there, but then the preparation changes each time. So we
It's
get
very
to work.
creative and collaborative,
Yeah.
huh?
It's not necessarily very collaborative,
Okay.
but Tuesday morning we get to work. 11 a.m. we sit down, no lunch that day, have a meeting, and he's got the menu kind of written out with all the ingredients that he wants on each dish. And we go over it, we talk about it. Okay, we're making carrot cake. And we all kind of talk about, should we put this in it? Should we blanch the Brussels sprout leaves? Should we do this? Da, da, da. Kind of talk out each dish. And then we have it all ready for you at 5:30 that very same day.
Wow.
Okay, so that's risky. That is really ballsy, right? So
Every
like,
month.
I mean,
I
does
wanna
it ever
come
just
every Tuesday of the month?
Or you know
I
what?
think
Actually,
Ray
we
and I
used
need
to
to-
do
The
it
first
every
one?
month, but now it's every 2 months. I forgot
Okay.
about that.
Y'all should
I'll-
go now while they have this menu because
Yeah.
I went with someone who
It's
works
so good.
there and we had, I think, every new thing. We were there for like
But the thing is,
12,000
every-
hours eating.
You know what?
Every menu is like, this is my favorite menu yet. Like every single menu.
You may not know this about Margot and I, but at our heart of hearts, we're philanthropists. We really are, and we would
throw
gladly
money at me.
we would gladly come to your restaurant and sample all these things for you at the beginning of the month, so that way you don't have to foist them on a paying customer. You can give them to us. That sounds
Well,
wow.
you know.
No, but I mean, so you're coming up with this thing, and you don't really know how it's going to turn out, and then that night you're serving it. It's gotta blow up once in a while because it's so much complexity and so much.
There's a team of us, and
Once in a while, it's got to
there's
suck, right?
5 of us. There's definitely an experimental phase for certain things. Like, okay, well, we got this far with it, and it's good now, but I think we can make it better. And so throughout the first week, we kind of will like add like a teaspoon of baking soda,
so the
or
time to
like
come is a week after they change the menu. That's the time to come.
But everything is always like delicious. If there wasn't something that was great, we wouldn't serve it.
Yeah.
And there's definitely moments where it's like people are ordering things and like okay, I'm still making. You're like, I'll have one order of the ravioli, and you're like, how much? Okay, hold on, let me roll that pasta out.
I didn't
So it
realize
proves
y'all
to be
made so
challenging.
many things too, like smoking the paprika and
Oh, yeah.
making the sausage, and how
If
do
you
y'all
ever
do all
want
that in that?
to have some kind of like hating yourself moment, buy a dehydrator and just put everything that you don't use on the dehydrator and figure out a use for it. Like, oh, we made dill pickles and now we have this dill that has been sitting in this vinegar. Put it on the dehydrator, blend it with salt. Now you have dill salt. Let's make potato chips. Let's do this. Like, just keep on going.
Huh.
Use everything.
That's how Soil and Green got invented.
Or you can
All
drink
right.
Via's liquid.
Yeah.
Well, Via, we're starting to run out of time. I want to hear a little bit more about True Burger. We haven't talked much about that, and that's also a very creative place in a totally different genre. When
Jalapeno
True Burger
poppers.
opened up, is that?
We were first. First.
You were the
burger place.
first, like,
Yeah.
really that like modern burger, like interesting burger, not just like trying to make a quality burger, but trying to do really interesting things with it. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we have a loyal customer base. It's still going well. We love it over there. I was working at Patois, and I had a ton of casual dining experience. And when I first moved here, I was like, there's nowhere to get just like a straight up awesome hamburger. I don't understand why. And so I was talking
true.
to Aaron Bergow, the owner, about it, and he was like, that's our next move, is a burger shop. So he was like, you should run it. You're working here, like leave your other job, like work here full time, then come run the burger shop. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be amazing. And then that's what's happening now, and things are good. And we started off with a super small menu because we.
So did you start off as the general manager at the
Yes.
beginning?
Well,
so
I
you've been
started
the
off
only
as
general
kitchen
okay.
manager,
Okay.
and then it turned out that I could just do everything, and we didn't need anyone else. So no, I just do everything. And I mean, Bergow and Leon and Pierre, all the owners are
Yeah, we've had them on our show, by the way,
best
too. Yeah.
and are super helpful with anything I need. But you know, it goes well over there, so they kind of let me do me over there. And Bergow and I'll talk, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I had some good pimento cheese. Pimento cheese, something next week, burger with that on it." But
So describe for our listeners that maybe aren't familiar, describe like what sets it apart from just sort of a straight on
We're just-
old school burger place. What's
Every
different
day
about yours?
We have like a blend that we use. We're cutting and grinding our meat in house every single day. We make everything from scratch.
So you're not buying frozen patties from Cisco.
No, no, we're not. We don't buy really anything frozen. It's sort of overwhelming. But so in the beginning, we started out with just burgers and fries because I wanted to make sure that we could do that right before we had like cool burgers and onion rings and corn dogs. And so once, every time we are really good at sending out a really consistent product, we add more specials. We add more stuff. And
Like the Mississippi.
we have a new burger with fried pickles on it and iceberg lettuce and a tomato and something called comeback sauce, which is a really intense Mississippi sauce. It's kind of like a remoulade sauce, but doesn't really taste like the remoulade they make down here. It's awesome. It's been selling really well.
I was babysitting last week and I was like, crap, what are we going to do? I'm like, let's go to True Burger.
Now, I know this may be a simpler thing on your menu, but I love it, is the bun turned the other way and grilled. That is like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things like, why didn't I think of that? But it's so good. It makes the burger taste
Totally different.
so much.
People have been like, I really don't like your regular bun, but I love the bun you use for the patty melt and the grilled cheese. And I'm like, oh, good. It's that special circle bread we're getting. I'm just slicing it up for you. So we wanted to do something with that crispy bread, but I didn't want to get a new product in and not be able to sell it fast enough and like have something that was sitting and we weren't using. So we just flipped the buns and set out.
It's brilliant. It
Pioneer.
reminds me of like,
Pioneer.
it's like your mom cooking you a burger on toast, but it
Right.
actually tastes good. Like, but it has a consistency. It makes it a
Yeah.
consistency that is just
Because it's still like the big fluffy bun, so it can like absorb all the juices and stuff. So you're not at the end like in Eddie Murphy Raw. He talks about this house burger and the bread's like turned into pink Play-Doh, and his friends all have McDonald's, and he's
got the
sobbing,
big,
eating
weird
this like
meatball.
meatball covered in like bread goo, because he didn't have a bun. So we wanted to avoid the whole Eddie Murphy pink Play-Doh bread goo
Oh.
get down. So this has been good for that. And we actually used one bun in the beginning, but we're having some consistency issues. And now we worked on a recipe with this place in Harahan called Cottage Catering, who they're probably about to start baking our buns right now for tomorrow.
Huh.
And they're awesome. And our buns are super consistent now. We think it's a better product, and we're really liking working with Cottage Catering. They bake literally 4 hours before we open, or when they're finishing our buns, and they drop them off. And frequently she's like, "I'm sorry, they were still hot. I couldn't close the bags." And it's like, yeah, that's not going to be a problem. Don't worry about that. So we're excited. We're excited about the new buns.
And it must feel good to work with, support other businesses,
Yeah,
local
absolutely.
businesses. And
They actually, the owner and the baker, Kate and John, eat at True Burger once a week, I guess, to make sure we're doing their buns justice.
well, unfortunately, I see our producer saying we're out of time.
That went by fast.
We're gabbers.
Wow.
We're like, and then blah, blah, blah.
That's the
Mariah
understatement
Carey
of the
and-
millennium.
Well, before we close, tell us one more time about your hours. We'll go in turn first with you. Tell us about Boucherie's hours, website, anything you want to share, any promotions coming up, anything like that.
Okay.
Give us a plug.
Plug. Boucherie is at 8115 Jeanette Street, and it's open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday. We're going to be at Po' Boy Fest, the most awesome
Woo.
fest ever.
What's the
And-
date?
November 24th.
Yeah, I know that it's just like this date that's looming in my
Yeah.
mind. I'm like, what day is that going to be?
You know, it stretches your stomach out for Thanksgiving, too. That's coming right after that, yeah.
I just know that my family is transcending upon me, and Po' Boy Fest is also transcending upon me. So, like, but yes, Po' Boy Fest, big purple truck. You'll probably see Nathaniel hollering out there to everybody to come get some delicious food. And I think that's it.
All right. How about True Burger?
is opened Tuesday through Sunday from 11 to 9-ish, depends on the day. And we will also be at Po' Boy Fest. We'll have oysters. And if you volunteer for a 3-hour shift at Po' Boy Fest, you can come use the inside bathroom at True Burger.
Wait a second. You got to volunteer for 3 hours?
Yes, and you get a free t-shirt, and you get to go to the super fun volunteer appreciation party. They really need volunteers.
Wait, anybody listening to this right now
Yes,
can
just-
show up at True Burger and say, I want to volunteer.
And I will send them down to the Maple Leaf, and I'll give them the woman that coordinates its phone number. And then the whole time you're at Po' Boy Fest, you can use our luxurious inside bathroom.
I've been in there.
Wow.
It's nice.
Yeah,
That's-
it's nice.
that's huge.
So you're going to skip porta potties. You're going to get a free t-shirt. You're going to get to work at Po' Boy Fest, so you're going to feel good for a full month.
Oh, yeah.
Check that
morally.
one off
Yeah.
your list.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If
And you're helping support the culture and all that.
If
That's just
anyone's
terrific.
listening,
Yeah.
I think if you have maybe had some run-ins with the law, this can count as your community service towards that as well. So
Oh, that's brilliant.
come on, y'all.
Margot's just getting off probation
Yeah.
right now, unfortunately. But okay.
Is that what's clanging under the table in your head?
I know the detector doesn't go off. She has like 1 hour. She's got to get home after an hour. They know it's not a okay.
Here in
so,
Ted's Frost Stop. That's my.
Yeah. Okay. Well, our special guest tonight was Adrienne Resch of Boucherie. We'll have more about that on our website, and Via of True Burger. Thank you. Our show is recorded live at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne Avenue in Calhoun in Uptown New Orleans. Ted's is open 7 days a week, serving first-class burgers, beer, and their awesome homemade root beer in a frosty mug. Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Grant Morris, and Chris Keogh is our technical director. And this fabulous audio quality that you hear is by PreSonus Audio Electronics. Makes all kinds of wonderful things. Visit presonus.com for more information. You can get in touch with us here at Midnight Menu Plus One by going to our website, it's neworleans.com, and from there you can follow us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, sign up for our mailing list, get all kinds of swag. And while you're at itsneworleans.com, you can listen to other episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One and our other shows, Happy Hour, Mindset, True to the Game, Vietnola, Out to Lunch, and others. And if you listen to the show on iTunes, please rate us and review us. It helps other people to find us. Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. So we meet here again at Ted's Frost Top. I am Ray Kanata.
And I'm Margot Moss. Thanks.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potty mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. U.S. only.